friends. Today I wanted to take you along with me and show you how I make my favorite, very simple, very easy, delicious bone broth. I probably don't have to spend any time telling you about all its amazing benefits, but I'll insert some things in here just for you. Alrighty, you guys, so first things first, I take my grass-fed beef bones and I roast them on about, 450 degrees for an hour in my mini oven. And then I will put them into the crock pot because this gives them the most unbelievable flavor. Those marrow bones are amazing on their own. I just love eating that marrow. Is like nature's butter. It's amazing. But I love to do this because, as I said, it intensifies the flavor of the broth and it just makes it so rich and layered, so to speak. And I know many people like to make broth really complicated. That's not me. Now, the goal of this roasting of the bones is not to cook them completely. This is just, like I said, to kind of crisp them up and to give it that richness and more flavor and more depth. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer them now into crock pot. Here are my beautiful bones, and I'm going to go ahead and transfer them into here. You still see? Okay, just however they fit works just fine. I cannot wait to eat that marrow when it's done. It's one of my favorite things in the world to eat, and it is so incredibly good for you. It's just amazing, especially the grass-fed kind. Yes. Last one, don't drop it. All right. And then after that, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill it up with my filtered water, filtered spring water, just to basically get to the top, to the rim of the crock pot. I will get some more now. Now you want to make sure you fill it up to the top because the water is going to evaporate over the days or however long you're going to want to cook it. I'm going to be slow cooking mine for about 2 days, close to 2 days, and then I will be adding other stuff. I'm going to be adding more meat with actual beef on it. So yeah, because I want it to be a bone broth plus meat in it, and then I will use it for meals the rest of the week as part of salads and as just as a main meal, whatever and whatnot. And I'll have the bone broth and the bones, the marrow to enjoy like that. So yeah, for me this is like a bunch of things in one, and I love doing it like that. I'm just gonna top it off. All right, and this is quite literally all I'm gonna do to it. And then I will get back to you guys in a couple days through the magic of YouTube, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do next. And oh, I do not salt it yet. I don't put any pepper, any onions or garlic, because then it would get way too overcooked. And you can cook this anywhere from 1 even to 4 days, however long you want. The longer you cook it, the better, because it will have enough time to extract all the wonderful minerals from the bones. And one more thing I'm going to do, I forgot to show you, I'm going to add some of this. I usually add it just by eye. Never gotten it wrong before, so you just add however much you want. This will really, really help to leach everything out of the bones and put them into the broth. So that will make it amazing. And I love the little bit of a little vinegary flavor it gives it. Very gentle but delicious. So anyway, I'm gonna quit rambling and I'll see you guys in a few days. And in the meantime, while that's cooking, this is already day 2 of my new fermenting recipe. This just basically came from the top of my head. I just wanted to use whatever I had in my garden, and I also bought a couple of heads of cabbage. And what is in there is, boy, what isn't in there? That would be easier to say. You can basically ferment anything you want, like any vegetable, and it's amazing. The probiotics are just invaluable that are in this stuff. I have cabbage in there, I have cilantro, I have garlic, parsley, all from my garden, by the way, except for the cabbage. I have radishes from my garden, the German giants. They're delicious and just amazing. And I also have the radish greens in there, and I have some kale leaves, and I have a few carrots. That won't add anything as far as carbs go, basically, because all the goodies in there are going to eat up any sugars or carbs or whatever that are in there. And I have it in a bit of fish sauce and salt, let's see, some Korean chili spice. That is amazing. It's the same thing they use to make kimchi, the delicious Korean spice. And I'm going to have this sitting for probably about 5 days. We're going to be going to Germany soon, so I'm not going to be able to have it sit out as long as I want, but it'll definitely be ready this week. So it should be ready. I could already have some when my bone broth is done, but yeah, this on top is a rock in there, and it has it submerged. And on top I have some of my grape leaves for the tannin in them. It's really beneficial for when you're pickling stuff. So yeah, that's going, and oh, it smells so good. I can already smell that fermentation. It smells absolutely amazing, and you see all that wonderful fat on top. I'm going to put this in the fridge, and the fat will solidify, and I will use that for cooking. It'll be like my tallow, and the broth will be pretty much fat-free. Alrighty, you guys, it is day 2, and you can see what it looks like. Yesterday I added a couple of bay leaves and 2 tablespoons of my French gray sea salt, and I'm letting it continue to simmer on low for another, I'd say maybe day and a half. So yeah, I'm not adding anything more yet. I'm gonna let it keep on simmering and get all the goodness out of those bones. And oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, I added some hours ago my grass-fed oxtail. That will add to all the wonderful minerals and stuff. I added it later because I don't want the meat to get too overcooked. Alrighty, you guys, it's now been 3 days, and my very basic bone broth is completely done. I seasoned it with some beurre, and then I added, for the last day of cooking, actually for the last 12 hours of cooking, I added, I took out the bones, and I added my grass-fed chuck beef. So now it is bone broth with beef, so it's like a really, really healthy bone broth with meat. So yeah, that's gonna be so good. The meat is fall apart tender. So yeah, that's just a basic, quick way of making bone broth. You basically put bones in a crock pot after roasting them, and you cook it for anywhere from 2 to 3 days, even some people up to 4 days. So yeah, this is going to be really great. I can't wait to have some of this. And by the way, PS, as you can see, there's like a pretty good layer of fat on top that will be coming out after it cools down to room temperature. I'm going to put this whole thing in the fridge, and the layer of fat will solidify, and I will skim that off and use it for frying eggs and stir fries and stuff like that. And it will be berbere seasoned fat, because I put berbere in this broth this time because it's one of my favorite flavors to have in my broth. So yeah, here's one of the first meals I made for myself from this meat that I cooked in the bone broth. This is my garden vegetables. There's some sauteed kale and beet greens and other goodies from my garden, and that is the wonderful, delicious, fall apart tender beef.